He shares how peer support is becoming a viable option for nurturing the mental well-being of young people around the world, and especially in low-resource countries, segment home country of Kenya. Mental health problems prevent young people from living independent and successful lives, but one on raised in small sugarcane farms. Some of my early memories at all. So my younger brother and I were walking around and pretending that we only sugarcane, but most of these memories were actually from school. My parents, and especially my mother, made sure that I knew how much sacrifice for me to have the education and the path to success that they did not. They were very clear that these checks were too high. There's no room for disappointment. There's no room for failure. When I was 12, I moved to the bottom section of a local primary school. Here, we will wake up at 4 a.m. to set of math problems. We are resolved before breakfast, only go to bed. Sometimes after 11 o'clock, if we solve that 9th science problems in high school. The pressure is even higher early morning to late night routine. So now supplemented by Saturday and Sunday classes. It was here in high school where I began to notice the personal, emotional and behavioral toll that is pressure cooker system, and excited myself and those around me. I noticed it. For example, when tired of cramming, the production of sulfuric acid. I stopped taking norms or engaging with chemistry in 10th grade. I notice it when it's cool man, whom I will call the Tiano to his own life. All this time, what came to mind was that this was life. Life forced trouble, sleeping with, leaving 2 months, flying for little interest or pleasure in doing the things that gave you joy. Life was constantly feeling down, crashing under the weight of the feelings of hopelessness. That was life. It was only recently, some 5 years after high school, that I began to realize that what we thought was life, loving fucking mental health problems. Was it possible that we are struggling with depression and anxiety and just you know about it? Back, in fact, with the case studies, now show that almost 50% of Kenyans struggle with mental health problems. And in such a youthful country where half the population is 19 years or younger, youth mental health become an agent public health priority. Over the past few years, I've been working to turn this public health problem into an opportunity for young people, to reminding them to define what mental health care could look like. We're doing this by tackling the 3 big issues that prevent young people from getting health. 1. Block of mental health, experts to the stigma around mental health, and 3. The sad reality that most mental health treatment were not built and designed for young people who look like me and have my background. Because we have only 2 clinicians for every 1 million Kenyans. We are expanding mental health care access by training young Kenyans as slave providers. This young Kenyans are delivering evidence-based care to the PS2. A structured and tiered model that ensures that all young people who want can get help because of the stigma of mental health that still exists from Kenya's colonial past. We're delivering interventions without a formal declaration. Office of Mental Health, and our interventions focused on building character strength, on strengthening individual autonomy, and on improving overall human functioning and well-being. Because only providers work within the communities where they come from in the school systems that they themselves went to and deliver what is truly a for youth. And by youth, mental health care treatment. We are fixing the divide between mental health treatments and the social and cultural needs of the communities that they serve. Friends 2018. I've used this youth-based model to bring about mental health care across Kenya. And what we have found is that this model, young people are reporting reductions in depression, anxiety symptoms, reporting improvements in the social relationships and in their views about the abilities to change the world. And then what will make my mum happy? They're also reporting improvements in the academic grades. Mental health is not a Kenyan problem. It is not an African problem. This is a global problem. We need big ideas to tackle this problem, and our case for optimism is that our youth-oriented, community-focused model can be a template for the rest of the world. One other early memory from childhood is a story that my grandmother called me long time ago for the sugarcane farm before the grass touched hearts. And around compounds the animals lived happily because there's plenty in the line and a future to look forward to. Coming right in the line of the future was all of a sudden bleep. And so the line rode. There was no water, and the elephant granted those no water. And the cheetah yelped where there was no water, when the young man to invite them to come together and build a well. There was water, there's a future, there is hope. This is our young intellect moment. Let us come together and let us build a world where all young people all over the world can